Gonna build a mountain from a little hill.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Best in Slot, and yes, we are back with yet more Planet Zoo news. Things just keep coming and coming and coming. We have a bunch of new screenshots, 12 brand new screenshots to look at today, just released on the planetzoo.com website, and in those screenshots is 3 brand new animals, plus another 3 brand new animals confirmed via another method, if I learn to speak English, that we're going to talk about at the end. So we're going to go through the screenshots relatively quickly at the start. There's a lot of similar ones that we've seen before. I am, of course, armed with my trusty red pen. So let's get started. Like I say, you can check all these out for yourselves on planetzoo.com. So first exhibit, there isn't really much to talk about, if we're honest. We've got a little interesting fence. I swear we've seen like 20 different fence types by this point in the game. The one interesting thing about this exhibit for me, and we're not really seeing anything new here in the adorable little baby elephant, is that there's an elephant actually over here as well. So despite this being fenced off and 2 different exhibits, there's an elephant over there. Now I'm wondering if the elephants, like we say the lions, there's a reason to do with the mating and stuff like that to keep, say, the bull elephants separated from each other. We know with the lions that the alphas, well, people will fight for the alpha position, and if you want to keep a particular male lion as the alpha of the group, then it's probably safer to keep the other male lions away from that lion. So maybe this is a similar kind of system coming into play for the elephants. We have a lovely shot of the giraffes. It looks a little like a bull shot to me based on the lighting, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's very, very pretty. Is that... I'm just gonna highlight something here. Just gonna bring that up. I just spotted this. Okay, no. I thought that was a selfie stick. I will be honest. That is obviously our cleaner man walking along off to clean up some lovely giraffe feces. Again, not much to say about this. We've got this lovely thatched roof. Again, I have to push out that we've seen it feels like 20 billion different building types. You can see this thatched roof actually all the way on all these buildings in the background. That's obviously something to do with the African aesthetic you're going to be able to pursue via some of your buildings. Moving on, we have more giraffes. Lovely little baby. We actually have our first look at one of the new animals in here. I didn't spot this till right now, but on the bottom left, we're going to get a better shot of this guy very soon. That is one of the new animals that we hadn't seen before. That is a springbok, a type of gazelle. Like I say, we'll focus on him in a little bit because we're going to get a much better shot. It seems these giraffes are contained via some form of shelter structure. You can see it's blocked off from this giraffe over here. God, there's a lot of glass fencing being used in Planet Zoo. We see this looks terrible. There's a lot of glass fencing being used. You can see that quite often in the background, and as well as these roller toys. Animal enrichment, like I said in the past video, is going to be very, very important. I really do want to focus on the new animals today, but again, I just want to point out, I've got this steep sort of staircase on the left hand side, brings you up to an elevated path which curves around the entirety of the exhibit. The creative control we're going to have is going to be phenomenal as far as I'm concerned. Moving on, chimps. Terrifying chimps. Chimps scare the life out of me, I'm not gonna lie. And this guy, with that face in particular, is really nailing the spookiness. We've once again got these modular kind of building frames in the background, our climbing frames for our chimpanzees do look to be modular, and they will dynamically climb above them as need be, which is very, very cool. The thing to know about this is the first time we've seen a chimp in all these screenshots we're going to see are from a more savanna type environment. Most of them we've seen already have been from like a temperate grassland looking place, and you can kind of see that on the ground. This time it's all savanna, it's all short dry grass, it's all sort of sandy kind of textures. And yet we're still seeing the same sort of animals. So as I mentioned in the last video, it really does seem to be the case that all your animals can go in all your zoos probably, but some animals will be better placed to live in certain zoos. I really don't think we're going to be making brand new biomes. I don't think you're going to be taking like a temperate grassland and putting an Arctic park in the middle of it. I don't think that's going to be the thing. I don't have any confirmation on that, but based on what we're seeing on screenshots, that absolutely seems to be the case. What is really interesting and what looks fantastic here is if you look at the bottom half of the chimp, I don't know why I have to highlight that, but there you go. If you just look in that box, you can see, because he's living in this desert, sandy kind of environment, he's covered in dirt from a natural place, and it kind of even splays naturally into his fur as you get higher up. It fades in really realistically looking. I hate chimps, but that's a pretty cool chimp right there. And I really like the idea that all the animals we're going to put in this environment will kind of take the dirt upon them. So you should feel the impact of the biome upon your zoo, basically. We're going to have a look at another chimp as well. Not much to say on this one. I did speculate about this briefly the other day. We saw a chimp seemingly grooming themselves, and I wondered if they'd be able to groom each other. It does indeed appear to be a behaviour that they can do. It's very interesting. Just note the difference in size and ferocity kind of thing, and just the bulk of these several chimps. It really is. The chimps, obviously there's a little bit of gender dimorphism there between males and females potentially. I think this one on the left is probably female and this one on the right is probably male. Don't really have any way of knowing that for sure, but we know that all the animals are going to have different sizes and stuff like that. It may not be a big deal, but they will have some kind of unique aspects in their size and their colouring and their fur patterning and stuff like that. So you could in theory have an alpha chimp that does happen to be bigger than all of the others, and maybe that'll tie into the alpha system even. We don't know that for sure. We don't know quite how deep that genetic system goes quite yet. I really want to get through these other animals quicker, but he's a smug son of a gun, isn't he? He looks very pleased with himself. I'm also pretty sure from that climbing frame, he would have no problem jumping into here. Now, two things I want to point out here. Again, we see all the dirt and the dust. It looks really cool. And this. What is this? It's meant to be a tree. Maybe that is a type of tree. I think it is a tree in Africa. But it's this that's confusing me, because it looks like a weird metallic silver jellyfish or something. I don't really like a sea scorpion, like a sea cucumber. I don't know what that's meant to be. It's spooky. Anyways, that's it for the existing animals, I believe. Let's find out by clicking this button here. No, one more, and that's our lovely, delightful, beautiful saltwater crocodile. We still don't have confirmation on what it is. I am leaning towards saltwater crocodile. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I want to take it home. Oh, it's so pretty. I really, really am excited about this more than every other animal in the game so far. I really want to see these in movement again. Really just want to cram my park full of them. But the interesting thing to note is, of course, we saw this again in that very wet wetland, very watery, loads of reeds and sort of big trees exhibit. That's how we last saw the crocodile. In this screenshot, we see it again in this arid, very dry environment, like the chimpanzees, like the gazelle, like the giraffes. So again, kind of emphasizing, I think you're going to get given a map. I think it's going to have a biome. I think you can adjust that biome slightly to your different animals. You know, if you need lots of water, you can add lots of water. You can add certain types of plants. You can add cooling pads and heating pads as need be. Beyond that, I don't think we're going to be changing much else. Anyways, time for new animals. This is our incredibly fluffy, almost inevitably a good boy, our African wild dog, otherwise known as a hunting wolf, hunting dog, or a painted dog. It really depends on your thing, but African wild dog is your official designation, and it is the fluffiest little guy in the world, isn't he, really? Interestingly, we have seen these before. A long time ago on one of the initial screenshots, we saw what we thought was African wild dogs in the lower right corner. If any of you recall that screenshot, I don't have it to hand, unfortunately. And it was them, or it was wolves and stuff like that, but most of us thought it was probably wild dogs, and they seem like a fairly natural inclusion for a zoo game, so it's really nice to see. Oh, he's even got like a shiny... I just want to bring his face up, because his face is adorable. It needs more focus. I mean, he's the goodest boy. He's the literal goodest boy. I'm wondering if you can see these sort of flecks of... Oops, there's a wrong tool there, best slot. You can see these kind of flecks of dirt and sand and sort of little bits of paler colour around the snout. Now, is that a natural genetic modification? Is that what all the wild dogs look like? Or is that indeed the influence of the environment? Is that because he's in this sandy, deserty environment, are we then seeing that fleck up onto the animals even in that way as well, not just from the sort of the feet like we saw with the chimpanzee? That's interesting. None of the other animals actually have that same level of dirt on them as well. We do have another image of the wild dogs right there, 4 of them roaming around in a lovely little pack, and they really do look natural. That is an environment absolutely made for them. And like with all of these exhibits, they're huge. You can't even see you can just about see the fence at the back. Really very slightly. You can't now because I just drew over it. There's a fence there, but it's very hard to see. You can just about make it out there as well. Very, very hard to spot. These exhibits are massive. I'm really optimistic that Planet Zoo is going to give us a huge playground to play in, basically, and build the zoo that we really want. I don't know. It's cool, right? Look at it. The same environment. They just fit. They just look natural. They just work. And is that... Wait, what is going on there? Let's highlight his mouth, because it looks like it's meant to be it is. Is that meant to be a tongue? That's terrifying. It's very scary. It's very malformed. Although it's worth noting, again, we do have that same fleck right there that I mentioned, so maybe that is more of a common thing. You can see it's kind of in actually basically the exact same spot. Now, it could be the same animal, we don't know for sure, but it is worth pointing out. Right, next new animal, ladies and gentlemen, cheetahs have also been confirmed. Look at them, I don't really know what to say about the animals themselves. We're not seeing them in motion, so it's kind of hard to comment on the animations or the sounds and all that kind of stuff. All I can say is they look very cool. They look like cheetahs. They are instantly recognizable as cheetahs, which is of course a fairly natural inclusion for any zoo game. They look fluffy, they look like they've got varied patterning on their spots. You can see if we just look at the legs, for example, you see this one here on his left leg that's going forward. It's got this small ring, C-shaped ring of small dots. This one, same exact location, has nothing of the sort. So cheetahs, like the zebras, and we speculated about this before, will have very varied patterning and spots and stuff like that. And maybe it doesn't make a huge difference in your day-to-day gameplay, or even, you know, if you looked at these sort of at a glance, you wouldn't really notice the difference, but I think it will add a little bit of variety and kind of give you more favoured animals. Now, I do think we're seeing more gender dimorphism at play here. You can see here the cheetah here has pointy ears maybe, but also in the body shape it's very straight across here, right? Whereas this one is at least seemingly more muscular. The four legs are very muscular there, the body dips down a little bit. It could be the positioning and stuff like that, but I would wager a guess that we've got a male on the right and a female on the left. I wouldn't know for sure. I don't know enough about gender dimorphism in cheetahs, if I'm honest, but that would be my guess. I just really like seeing the different slight changes in morphology. You can even see it slightly in the colouring. This one here's got this sort of blackened, darkened patch towards the back. It's very hard to see, but if you look at that section, right, if I just do this very specific, if you look at that section there, you can see how it's lighter on the right and darker on the left. Bring that up. I don't think that's just the shadow. I think that is part of the colouring of the skin, because that area is not any different in shadow than the rest of it, right? Like this middle area here. Whereas this one on the left doesn't appear to have the same thing. This one on the left is of course in the shadow, so we don't know for sure, but it's worth pointing out. We also see this big lake, and then we have our elevated path actually sitting in the water, which is really cool, so we'll be able to do that. We'll be able to go through the lakes. Hopefully what that means in theory is you could have a crocodile exhibit, or other aquatic animals that are happy to live predominantly in the water. You could have this aquatic sort of crocodile exhibit, and you could have an elevated path that cuts right through the middle of the exhibit, which would be very, very, very cool. That is making me optimistic that we will be able to do that. I don't know if we've seen... I think we have seen elevated paths in water before, but not so close to the top of the water. So, yeah, imagine being able to walk through, look down to your left, see crocodiles, or you could even split them, look down to your left, see crocodiles, look down to the right and see, I don't know, turtles or whatever else we're going to get. We also have this rather odd looking, again, African themed building with the thatched roof, some sort of drying rack kind of thing there, and then some weird plant decor. I think we're going to get some like stickers or something we're going to play onto our walls based on what we've seen so far. Final new animal is of course the one we've already seen before, the springbok. Doing its happy, it looks like it's very pleased with itself, doesn't it? It's just jumping around, happy little springbok with this beautiful glass roofed sort of viewing area really near. I don't think it's a viewing area, I think it's probably a shelter actually, but it's just very, very aesthetically pleasing, yes, as they say. Don't really have much else to say on that one. We have another shot of the springbok messing around with its big roller thing, which I think, you know, lets it scratch up against it and play around and roll around and all that kind of jazz. I wonder if we can see a difference in the... Yeah, we can. And again, I don't know if this is the lighting, but I would suggest that the left-hand side springbok is lighter in colouring than the one on the right. That could definitely be the lighting, but I don't know, I'm not convinced. I would say they're probably... Oh, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do they look different to you? They've definitely got very similar patterning. Of course, most springboks do. But I will say this one on the right looks darker, and I think the ears look quite a bit longer and pointier. That could be, again, just how they're shaped at that point and what they're doing with their ears, but I'm not convinced. I think we may be seeing yet more gender dimorphism at play. Dimorphism is very clearly my favourite word. So, what we're going to do very quickly is blur this. Like so, because I want to talk to you about 3 more animals coming to the game and a little bit about how you're going to get hold of them, and that is via this image right here, the Deluxe Edition for Planet Zoo. So just like with Jurassic World Evolution, where you got a few bonus dinosaurs as well as some other other minor goodies if you pre-ordered the game, the Deluxe Edition, the same thing will apply with Planet Zoo. So to get the Deluxe Edition, well, you get a set of wallpapers and the original soundtrack, both. I mean, the soundtrack for the game is beautiful, so that's pretty cool. Set of wallpapers, who really cares? You get the exclusive beta access. Now, in my last video, I said you got that via pre-ordering. That's what we were told at E3. It seems you'd have to pre-order specifically the Deluxe Edition to get the beta access, or maybe there's 2 betas. Maybe there's a Deluxe Edition beta, and then later on there's a beta for the normies, I guess. But by the sounds of it, the beta will be exclusive to the Deluxe Edition. Of course, I'll be bringing you that beta content as soon as it's out, and if I get any more information on that, I will definitely let you know. The Deluxe Edition, by the way, for us in the UK at least, is £5 more, I think, which is the same as it was in Jurassic World Evolution. And you can... It's available in some Steam stores already. You can, by the looks of it, buy it separately. So even if you didn't get it prior to the release of the game, maybe you want to wait for the reviews and stuff like that, or you just want the base game for now, you could then go get the Deluxe Edition upgrade down the line, just like you could with Evolution, which makes a lot of sense. It wouldn't make sense to be... I mean, getting locked out of the beta, getting locked out of the soundtrack and the wallpapers wouldn't be the big deal, but 3 unique animals, that would be a very big deal to be locked out, especially when they are some of the coolest animals we've heard of so far. So Thompson's Gazelle is... If I'm honest, some of you will be very excited about Thompson's Gazelle, but I'm not one of them. But Pygmy Hippopotamus is possibly the most... I love hippos in general, as you may have noticed, but I am exceptionally excited about the Pygmy Hippopotamus. That is a huge thing for me. I'm a big fan of Pygmy hippos, and hippos in general, and I'm very, very excited to make a Pygmy Hippo exhibit. All my exhibits will be Pygmy Hippo exhibits. Maybe I'll have like a big hippo exhibit with Pygmy hippos in it, so you've got like a big small thing going on. That'd be pretty cool. Anyways, I'm just very excited about Pygmy hippos, and nearly as excitingly, again, one of my all-time favourite animals, Komodo dragons. Now, it does suck that these 2 animals are Deluxe Edition only, but it's a small price increase, and if you don't want it at release and you decide you want these later, like say you'll be able to pick them up, it's kind of what they did with... Again, I'm going back to Jurassic World Evolution, where the Suchomimus, which was definitely one of the animals that lots of people wanted, was restrained to the Deluxe Edition, and it seems the same thing has happened again. Now, we don't have any images of these animals quite yet, but yeah, Komodo dragon, how cool is that as a confirmation of Komodo dragons being in the game? Very, very cool. Shame it's Deluxe Edition, but I'm pretty sure this is a very good way to make sure that people buy the Deluxe Edition, because I don't think people are going to see the word Komodo dragon and think, nah, I'm not buying that upgrade. So, yeah, there it is, folks. If you do decide to get Deluxe Edition, you get 3 great animals, well, 2 great animals and a gazelle, and you also get exclusive beta access, which is coming sometime this summer. The game is available on Steam. For some of you, you will be able to pre-order that Deluxe Edition right now. For those of us in Europe, at least, I don't think it's unlocked quite yet, but it should happen very, very soon. So, if you're excited, if you look forward to it, if you're going to get hold of it, then, you know, go do it now, I guess. Lots of people will advise against pre-ordering a game. For me, if you trust a company and you've seen enough stuff, you can kind of go for it. If you're hesitant about pre-ordering, I will, of course, have lots of beta gameplay and stuff like that beforehand. But also this Friday, like I said in the last video, there is going to be some proper, actual gameplay revealed this Friday. So if you're on the fence at the moment, you can wait for that gameplay reveal, see what the game looks like in motion, and make your decision from there. Okay. Considering I didn't plan any of this, I've talked for far longer than I anticipated. Right, we can end it there. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all as excited as I am. We had Pygmy Hippo, Thompson's Gazelle, Komodo Dragon, Cheetahs, African Wild Dog, and Springboks. Is that it? Today? Yep. 6 new animals revealed today. Also, I believe Geekism, who's another channel who does some great Planet Zoo stuff, has revealed that iguanas are going to be part of the game as well. We don't know what type quite yet, but probably green iguanas if we had to guess. But it seems iguanas are also going to be in the game. There is some stuff going on. Basically, there was a Frontier event last week, the week before actually now, which I was invited to, but unfortunately, because I lost a member of my family, I couldn't go to the Frontier event, but a lot of other YouTubers did, so we should have some more information coming out today as well, and I will hopefully bring that to you tomorrow, depending if it's anything, you know, world-breaking, basically. But if not, we'll be back on Friday at the very least with the gameplay, and I will see you lovely folks next time. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for lots more Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution content, and I'll see you folks next time. Cheers myself as always, bye-bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.